In this lesson, we're going to import our videos into the timeline and then start editing. So I didn't mention this, but you can also create a sequence by dragging the video and dropping it into this icon, and it's going to automatically create a sequence with the video size, with all the video metadata, all the information that is on the video is going to create a sequence like this. This is also another way to create a sequence and then start editing. So we're going to start from the scratch again. I personally don't recommend dragging the video to this icon to create a sequence. I like creating the sequence from the scratch and then being in control of my sequence settings. So, however, should in case you create a sequence like this and you want to change some things, you can always right click on the sequence and go to sequence settings, and then you can modify and create your video preview and change the things you want to change. So let's say if I want this to be a portrait video, a real video, I'll say 1080 by 1920 real quick. Oh, let's spell 1080. So automatically it changes to a 9 by 16, and then click OK. And now this prompt is going to come up, blah blah blah. Just click OK, and this is what we have, right? So yeah, deal with that information as you will, and not to confuse you in this early stage of the lesson. So I'm just going to delete this, and then we're going to start from scratch, but you get the point. So this was the previous sequence we created before. I'm going to start from scratch so you'd have muscle memory. And quick tip, you have to do this a lot. I'm going to, in as much as I'm going to leave a project file, a template project file for you, always try to create your own sequence yourself. That way you're going to build muscle memory. So we're going to go to File, New, Sequence. The shortcut key is written here is Control N, Command N on the Mac, and Control N on the Windows. So I'll click Sequence, and then this is the preset we created before. I'm not going to use it because we're going to be creating a new one. 25 frames per second, HD 1080p, 25 frames per second. We'll go to settings rather, and then the size is already set to 1920 by 1080. We're not going to change anything there. And our video preview, like I said before, most times it comes like this. I frame only MPEG, change it to QuickTime, and change the codec to Apple ProRes 422. Don't forget, guys, always rename your sequence to the name of the project you're working with. So I'm going to rename this to lesson 3 again, and let's just say underscore edit. Okay. Right, so yeah, so most times if your video, your program monitor, the frame is this small, you can always click on this window, this 10% window, and click on fit. Automatically it fits to the program monitor panel. And okay, that being said, this is our sequence. We're going to move it to the sequence folder here. Just click and drag to the sequence folder so we can stay organized. And then this is our videos that were imported before. If you have not seen that video, please don't skip it, go back to watch. I think that should be lesson 2, right? All right, so I'll double click on the video, and mind you, don't double click on the name, because then it's going to prompt you to do a rename, to change the title. So we don't want to do that. So you can always double click on the video. And if you want to see a thumbnail view, you can click on this icon here, double click on the folder, and then you have a thumbnail view of your videos. If I prefer working with the list view, like I earlier mentioned, so we're just going to click on the list view back, double click on the icon, the video icon here, and not the name. I know I'm stressing on this because a lot of people always make this mistake, and then they say, oh, it's not showing, it's not coming up on the source monitor. Yeah, so we're going to do an import. We're going to import an audio with one of the ways that we learned earlier, how to import things into Premiere Pro. I've made these audios available for you, so check them out and use anyone you feel comfortable working with. I'm going to choose, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to take this one, and you just drag and drop into the folder I think I'll just drag everything into the folder, right? And now we have our audio, our video, our sequence has been created. So let's start editing. The first thing you want to do is watch your video. As an editor, you always want to watch a video and see what you have and see the rushes you have and see the raw files you're working with. So I've seen this video before. So I know what I'm going to be working with already. I know this concept and the storyline. So the first thing I'd want to do is show somebody in the pool. So I'll click on the one that has a pool and choose the frame, and set my in and out points by choosing where I want to use and where I don't want to use. So I'll just scroll through. And another tip is you can click on the play sign and it plays, but most times instead of waiting for the video to play out, just use your mouse and just scrub through the video. So that way you're also that's also going to help you edit faster. And then we're going to scrub through, and I think I like here. Let me just clear this. All right, so we're going to scrub through, and I think I like here before she stretches her arm out. So here I'm going to press I on the keyboard and go forward. Here I'm going to press O on the keyboard. So automatically what I'm saying is I want to use from here to here, and I don't want anything to do with this part of the video and this part of the video. So I'm going to drag. Now I'm going to drag just the video into a timeline. Yeah, and you're going to get this prompt regarding frame mismatch and all of that. Just keep existing settings. Don't change the frame because you've already done this in the sequence settings. So just say keep existing settings. And now on the timeline, it looks like we can't see anything, but the video is there. So how to zoom in on the timeline? You press the plus sign on your keyboard and it zooms in, or you can use this handle right here to zoom in and zoom out. So zoom in and zoom out. Yeah, pretty easy, right? Before we go further, I'm going to first of all import my audio so I know what I'm working with. And also another tip is always have an audio on the timeline. That way you are going to that at least that is what I do. So it's what helps me. It makes me to see where my editing is going. So I'm also going to advise that before you start any project, have an audio in mind and always put the audio in the timeline before you start importing your videos. So I'm going to drag my audio, select the part I want. No, this is the audio I want to use. Yeah. So I like where the beat drops, so I'm going to set my in point here. You can also use the plus sign on the keyboard to zoom in on the source monitor and to zoom out. So I'm zooming in now to get a precise in point, to set my precise in point, and then I'm going to zoom out. And I'm just going to put my out point here. I'm going to set my out point here where the beat drops again. So this is where the beat dropped, and this is where the momentum of the music went down. So in, I, and O. So you press I on the keyboard, I, and then you press O on the keyboard for your out point, right? You can also use this icon here to set your in and out points. So you click on it, automatically set an in point for you. Scrub, you click on it, automatically set an out point for you. And then for audio, if you want to drag the audio into your timeline, you see this icon, this wave sign that says drag audio only. You click on it and drag it into the timeline. So we're going to zoom into the timeline. I'll press plus sign on the keyboard and trim it. And also if you want to trim your files, you can always trim them from the edge like this. When you hover the mouse at the edge of the file, you get this red handle thing icon, and then you trim it and I'll bring it over. So this is, I'll zoom out now. See, this is what we have. So another tip is always edit to the beat. As the lesson progresses, you're going to be getting these kind of tips from me. And also when we start the main project that we're going to be working with, then you'd understand the importance of editing to the beat. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, we have our audio and the timeline. The next thing we're going to do is to watch our videos and find the next video to play. So no, I want to tell a story with this video. So you want to see somebody in the pool, and then you want to see someone using the product, and then you want to see a call to action that says, hey, buy our product. So we're going to go to the next video. I'm going to watch, I think there's a video of, yeah, there's a video of her coming out from the pool. This one, I'm going to choose this part right here where she comes out. So I press I on the keyboard, and here's fine. And I press O on the keyboard. So I just want this part. I'll drag just the video, and I'll place it into the timeline like this. And now we'll play back. Now, if you look at the audio, this is where the beat drops again. I'm going to trim this video by just dragging the video from the edge to where the beat drops, and now it ends. Now, that being said, we're going to just talk a little bit about the tool session. I don't want to give you too much information. I don't want to overwhelm you with a lot of things. So I'm trying to be very careful here. So to cut your videos and to move your videos, you need this. To move the videos in the timeline, you need this tool. It's called the selection tool. The shortcut key is V. So every time you touch V on the keyboard, it takes you to the move tool where you can move your videos on the timeline however you want, wherever and however you want to move them, right? Okay, so and every time you're editing in Premiere Pro, always make sure your magnets icon is selected, because when the magnet icon is selected, you have the video snap onto each other. So you can see the video snapping now. And also the next important tool that we're going to be working with is the cut tool. This, you can select it and use it to cut anything you want, right? So I can just take this, cut this part, go to the move tool, select it, and then if I press delete on the keyboard, it's going to go. And if you accidentally delete something like this, you can always undo it by going to edit, undo, and the shortcut key is Control or Command Z. So I'm going to undo all of that by pressing Control or Command Z on my keyboard. And now we're back to where we started. So for now, what you need to the tools you need to know, you need to get yourself familiar with, because we're taking it one step at a time, is the move tool, which is the selection tool, and the cut tool, the razor tool. The shortcut key for the razor tool can be set in the preference panel to see. What I did, however, is I have a shortcut for everything, so I don't have to go to the move tool and then click on it. I save myself the stress. I just set the tool to C, and we're going to talk about that later, so you don't get overwhelmed. So we're going to undo all of this. The shortcut to undo is Ctrl Z on the keyboard, or you go to Edit, Undo, and then we're here. So always make sure when you're editing you select the move tool, which is the selection tool, and this is what we have. So I'm going to choose something after this, and that is going to be me introducing the products. Now, this is just my own style of telling the story. So the idea is for you to understand how to import videos into Premiere Pro and import and edit those videos on the timeline. So however you want to edit this video is completely fine. Just make sure you have the videos on the timeline, and then you can cut them and follow along with the lesson. So I'm also going to speed up the video, and then we'll see what the final result looks like. This is what the final edit looks like, and just go, you can move your playhead on the timeline and go to the beginning, and then you press spacebar on the keyboard to play to see what everything looks like. And also if you want to stop the edit, you press spacebar. It's going to stop the edit, or you click on the play sign here, it plays, and you click on the stop sign, it stops. That being said, this is what the video looks like. I think the call to action, the end is very long, so I'm going to shorten that up by selecting the razor tool and then just cutting it out here, selecting the move tool and then deleting this like this. All right, so this is what we have done so far, and I'd really like you to do this on your own. I'm trying not to give too much information at the same time, but however, if you're confused in any part of the video, don't forget to leave a comment, don't forget to leave a message in the group or in the comment section, and then we are going to address it. That being said, also, if the timeline looks this big and it's taking up a lot of space on your system or your computer, whatever you're working on, you can always press Ctrl minus and it's going to shorten the timeline for you, or Alt minus to shorten the audio timeline, and Ctrl minus to shorten the video timeline. Ctrl plus, Command plus on the Mac to make it bigger, and Control Command minus to make it smaller. So if it's too big and you can't really see the other audio, video or audio tracks, then do Command or Alt minus. Alt minus, Option minus for the audio track, and Control Command plus minus for the video track. So let me see what you've done so far. Leave a message in the group chat. When you're done with your video, leave a message in the group chat, and also take it one step at a time. Like I said earlier, if you're stuck in any part of the video, don't forget to call my attention to it by leaving a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. The next lesson, we're going to talk about adding titles, simple titles, and subtle animation to the video.